You're listening to
Fresh out the gate.
Man, I be so fresh.
Fresh Podcast Network.
בלי קשקושים.
Straight from Tel Aviv, Israel.
רק מה שמעניין.
Let's go.
Hi, my name is Hilal Leizarovich.
And I'm Ron Avon. We are two entrepreneurs from Israel, and we are on a journey to find out what makes entrepreneurs, investors, and CEOs
Succeed or fail.
and we hope to inspire your journey. So, welcome everybody to the TLV DNA show, and today with us is Ofer Tzadik, the founder of TytoCare. How are you, Ofer?
Very good. Just a quick correction. We are two founders in this company. Dedi Gilad, my buddy, and he is the CEO, and I'm the COO and the co-founder.
So great to meet you, and tell us in a nutshell about Tyto.
Tyto is a species of owl, which means that it sees good, it listens good, and it's very smart and mobile. And that's what we took to ourselves when we looked at developing a unique solution of remote physical examination that was usually being done just in a clinic and just by physicians. And we said, let's do the same thing at home. And it all started with with Dedi Gilad. He has a daughter which was going to the kindergarten, and occasionally she was getting sick. And this is a routine that everybody has it today. And going to the physician, say it's viral, going back home. And then he came on with the idea, why don't we do it at home?
What kind of examination you do?
This is the examination that's usually being done by primary care or pediatrics. It's examination of the heart and lung sound, looking at the eardrum, looking at the throat, and temperature taking, and then making diagnostics. That's what usually you're doing with your kid. And later on, when you're getting old, it's again the frequency of going to the physician is going up.
So how you promised it to be simple for people to do it at home?
This was the big challenge. This was one of the big challenges because whoever we spoke about this idea, they were against it. They said this is not possible. Even nurse in Israel, for example, they don't do this kind of examination. Just physician does it. So how you're going to do it at home with people that don't have any medical skills to do this examination? And that's what we said. We are going to go to any consumer. This is our vision to people that sporadically get sick. They need, they have a career. They don't have enough time to spend outside of their work. Why don't they do it at home? And this was the challenge, the big challenge, how we are going to have a user experience that will enable people like me without any medical skills to perform it. And that's where we started doing it.
So it's an all-in-one hardware, and it sounds very challenging and difficult to create.
It's more than a hardware. This is a solution because it has platform. It's an end-to-end solution where a physician sits in one and across the ocean and can examine people on the other side of the ocean with high clinical quality, including a video call and including all the channels that we need to provide, sound and audio, audio and video to perform the examination. So we started, first of all, we had the big challenge, first of all, was raising money. You know, the seed money is one of the worst process that you need to do.
But before the money, take us to the ideation phase. How, without a prototype, you started the research to prove the concept, how it works?
What we did, we purchased items that usually physicians are using. And we demonstrate how people can, with physician, behind my back, telling me what to do. And we were doing, and someone else, user without medical skills, was doing it. And we were showing with a smart prototype that we can manage and guide and navigate people using a smartphone, just to show the feasibility of doing such checks. And that's where we started to show it. And people who were looking at that said, look, we don't believe it's something like that happens, but we trust you guys because we know you, because we know that you've done many things before that. And let's try to do this. And that's the reason that we started it with a few angels and not VCs.
So you created a POC with a prototype. What was this prototype including?
The prototype was showing different types of things. The stethoscope. So we purchased a regular stethoscope. We said that we are not going to change by much the tools themselves, but we want to design and develop a package that consumer will be able to do. So above all these tools, we showed feasibility of guiding and navigation of the user remotely and also offline, because our first employee came from a missile tracking. And we were using some of these techniques to show how we can navigate to a point. But in this case, the point is something that usually you don't know what is it. It's not like a target, it's an eardrum. Not many people know what an eardrum is. So then we needed to show the navigation, guiding and navigation, that it's feasible. We couldn't show it up to the eardrum, but we showed the feasibility of this. And our first stage is to take this POC and to show that there is a way to do it, and that's what we've done in the first phase.
And what was the moment that you understand that you are ready to scale and actually manufacture the solution itself?
No, it took more time. One of the challenges that you have in medical devices is the regulation.
Of course.
And first of all, you need to show that it's clinically good, and that physicians are okay with the data, that they can do diagnostics. The other challenge was it's a hardware and software development, and so the first year and a half was just taking a prototype, developing a prototype that can do it. It will not meet for example, the size. It will not meet the cost that you need to produce, because one of the challenges here, and this is something which is unique at Tyto, you don't see too many Israeli companies that are selling to consumer.
Consumer products, yeah.
Consumer product is not something which Israel is strong in this arena. And in our case, it's a consumer and medical, which makes it much more complicated. And so the first year and a half after we raised money for the seed money, we did it with a prototype, and then we could take the prototype and show it in exhibition, in some meeting, just to raise the money for developing the end product.
How the Israeli ecosystem help you with the process and the journey?
I think that Israel is currently people talking about it, but a few years ago, not many people were talking about digital health. Okay, the people, so the ecosystem here is good, because when we started and we were looking at physicians, and we were not looking at expert physicians, we were looking at primary care, pediatrics. And we started with my daughter, a physician. He was the president of the Medical Association of worldwide, and also in Israel, and he helped us in doing it. And Clalit, for example, Clalit as a HMO has much data, has much resources, and we started working with them on this. So one of the first clinical studies we've done it at Clalit.
So Clalit were kind of a design partner for you?
They were not design partner, but they gave us the capability, because they were looking at business. Okay, it's all start with business. Nobody will do something just without business. In our case, they were looking at that, and the person who was heading the digital health, or they called it e-health wing, was one that was looking for such a solution. And I saw it on a video, and I called him and I said, look, we can make your dream come through. And he said, I don't believe it. And I asked why. He said, nobody could go and do an ear exam at home without a physician. And we said, okay, try us. And then what happened? After we showed him, he was part of our advisory board and helping us in going further. And this is something that we showed it's working, and then we started the studies.
So going further, you actually designed the product, and I'm sure that within hardware and software, there are many challenges within user experience. Tell us a bit about how you solved the challenges.
First of all, as I said, one of the most difficult is the eardrum. Okay, how do you examine the ear? And if you would take the tool of the physician, it's like looking through a keyhole. And looking through a keyhole, you don't have enough data to navigate and to show them. So we were looking at a very small camera. We found one in Taiwan that was, and we changed it. We changed the way that people are doing the exam by taking like an endoscope. For the first time, taking an endoscope to check the ear. And this is, and we did it flexible. And then what was the end of that we developed our own camera module, because we needed to go from $500 per camera to few dollars because it's a consumer product. And this is was of the challenges that we showed. And after we did the prototype and we started the new product introduction, physicians are saying that this is the first time that they see the eardrum so good. So this is something that was a challenge, and we've done a good job on that. The other thing is that the stethoscope, how do you know how to locate the stethoscope on your body? Is it good enough? And then when they developed machine learning to make sure that the data is good, because garbage in, garbage out, physician will not trust the tool. And in our case, we develop it during the years, a better and better guiding and navigation, which we have patents on it also.
So as a brand, you created the value of being a reliable solution. As a parent, how do you ensure the confidence that this is good enough and that's okay and I don't really need to go to the doctor and it's intuitive enough? How, in a market way, how do you...
So what happened is that you need to get the physician trust. This is a hurdle that you need to go through. And we've done it with many demos, with many studies. And first of all, we needed to get the physician trust. And what we said is we are not going to replace the physician. The physician is still there. The diagnostic is being done by the physician. We just enable the data to go through our platform and device for them to do the diagnostics. So we are working together. And that's when we started. We started not with the home use. We started with the professional use in the remote clinics, schools. So, and organization got the trust step by step.
So, regarding Hilal's question, you actually went top down. You went through the medical, disciplinary, and then the parents actually say, oh, if the doctor uses it and suggesting to use it, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's first of all, Tyto is not direct to consumer at this time. It's B2B2C, but we've done much work on working with organization, and this is something that people ask us: how could you get to so many people in the US, for example, and how could you make all this connection? Because all this connection gave us the backwind to raise money, and you couldn't raise money without people in the US saying, yeah, this is something that we will look for. And this is something that I think that Israel is in this regard, they don't give up. They will get to whoever they want, through people, through chutzpah, and no, being aggressive but nice. And that's what we've done. And we got to so many people in the US that help us. And currently we are working, we said to ourselves that every startup company in Israel or any other world that will need the support from us, will support them with connection, with our ideas. And that's what we are doing today. So you must get market approval for the concept. Without that, don't just invest in the technology and in R&D. You should spend much more resources on market approval. This is this is one of the tips that we give people that are coming to us, that technology, it's great technology, but I tell them just focus first on the market approval. And that's what we did.
Usually it's difficult to educate the customers in the market, but you have now a momentum of the COVID-19, so telemedical become like the most intuitive next thing to do. So how do you take this momentum to your company?
Currently, before the COVID, things were changing. Okay, we could see this. The digital health. There are many companies in the digital health. Health organization was looking for digital health. The problem was that the business model was difficult. Not many digital health companies are making money, and this is something that for us it was. I think that one of the first companies in digital health that had a business model, and this was one of the important things. That we could deliver the value but get money for that. And just bear in mind, this hardware involved. So what we did is we're working with the health organization, showing them the innovation and where the market is going. Because at the beginning, health organizations were looking at that as not a replacement of other services in the healthcare. Because this is a change of a healthcare delivery. This is something that Tyto brings to the table, and this was difficult for them. But what they said is that we need to be innovative, to be shown innovative, and that's why we trust this, and we do it as like a marketing at the beginning. And so they started it as marketing, and then, after a few months or even years in some cases, they started to have it part of their delivery system. For example, in the US, everybody wants to own the consumer. Consumer is owned by the payer, so they can go and shop for physicians everywhere. And what's important for the health organization to get some loyalty for you to come to their clinic, to come to their hospital. So this was part of their healthcare delivery system, all the chain to start with the telehealth.
So you're saying that digital health has had a problem by conducting business models and executing them. So how did you came up with a business model?
What we did is that we said that first of all there is a telehealth working. It's a very low usage of telehealth, but there was a business model. So we said let's take the business model they have for the video calls, and put our on that. And what we said is that we showed that if you have a device like Tyto, you are more trusting the telehealth, so you are going to have more usage. And there was a models that showing that video calls or telehealth reduce the expenses of the employers, for example. And we showed if you take the same model, and because you have a Tyto, and we did some research, and we showed that with Tyto, families using more telehealth than the regular telehealth without Tyto, and we showed ROI. And we showed them that if you use it once or twice a year, you are saving your money and you get the money back. And that's what we did with the health system. And health system currently are even subsidizing the devices to their members in order to them to do telehealth and save money for the health organization or the payer. And that's what currently, even in Israel, they're subsidizing it. In the US, they're subsidizing it. So it came into their chain, and currently, we believe that it will be the daily procedure, start with Tyto, and then let's see what needs to be done. And
It's
this is the model that
interesting because what you're describing is that your business model relies on the entire customer experience and not only on your specific solution. So you knew the flow the customer is going through, and by knowing it, it's enable you to create your own business model.
Yeah, we were improving the chain that was already in place with the low usage, and we showed that with the higher usage, there's a value in doing it with Tyto, more and more.
When it comes to health, medical devices, a lot of fear comes up. It's usually talking about big regulations, barriers, and a long journey. How did you address this?
Regulation-wise is, my partner and myself didn't come from the medical industry. We come from the healthcare IT. And the first thing that we did, we understood that we have no idea how to do this. And so we brought people that came from the medical industry, helping us in that. And the challenge is there, but after a while, it's becoming an asset. It's becoming a barrier for competition to do all this regulation. And after we understood that we cannot fight it, but doing it in the right way, it became more on a regular basis, part of our development process, part of our manufacturing process. And currently, Tyto is heavy regulated because we are not just dealing with medical, we are dealing even with personal health records, which mean information security and privacy need to be. So we are also regulated on this aspect. And what I'm saying is that when we are working with large organization, they come with this demand, with this requirement. So you have to do this in order to sell. And that's what we are doing today. So the most important thing is that you need to have a strategy how you're doing the regulation. And for us at Tyto, it took us more time than what we thought of, because our product was dealing with 4 different medical products. And if I would take the first recommendation by a reputable agency in regard to the FDA, it could take us double the time. We've done many interviews with people, and we found a way to have a FDA approval for 4 different products. And this is something that was not done before, and currently people now in other companies are learning how to do this based on what we did. So you must be innovative in this, and I must say, and I will give a compliment to my partner, who is a very innovative person. He came with the idea of Tyto, and it's very important to keep on being innovative and employing people that are innovative, that don't take it as is and try to improve the situation.
2 questions because of what you said. First, you said it took a long time. So how you dealt with money during this time? That's the first question. The second one is you said that you didn't come from medical, so you were supported by a network. How you build the network? How did you know where to go with the network?
Yeah. First of all, we started it with, as I said, we were going to shows even in Israel, and we were looking at people, and some of our investors we met in under a coffee table in one of the exhibitions or the conferences. As I said, we were targeting the people according to whoever we're gonna be there, and also by knowing people just by face. One of them is from Elron, is Uzziah Galil. Is a 90 years old person that is dealing with telehealth, and we found him in one of the exhibition. We recognize his face, and we asked him to sit for a few minutes and show him what we have. So that's the way that we worked. And after we got money from a VC, Orbimed, which is a medical They could also approach other people because of what we met, but most of it we've done by ourselves, and they got the help, give us the help. I do think that you must go out, as I said, market approval, go after that. So then when you know what is your target, you find the people.
So connecting to Hila's question, you went to people, you networked, and then what? You kind of established an advisory board. Were there people, becoming a part of the venture? How does it work?
It worked by going to chief medical officers and showing them that. And that time there was it was a phase before VP of telehealth was becoming a position in organization. So we said let's do some demos and let's do some studies with you. And the first commercial one was with, as I said, with the professional use with people, and we went to our organization and we started with 1 or 2. That's what we've done. And at the beginning, we couldn't sell the Tyto without prescription. So we started with prescription, and then we waited about few months or even a year until we got the over-the-counter permission. We were very, very patient with that. We knew that this is a medical device. And just to understand, we didn't do any real marketing. We just went going to the shows, and because it was a unique solution, and people at the beginning were saying it's not going to work, but after they checked the device, they 180 degrees changed their mind, so they gave them the ability to go further. And I can tell you, one of the things that helped us, because we were Israeli companies, they said, how come Israel is becoming with this digital product when nobody else thought about it? So they even push for that into the organization. So currently we have over 140 health organizations that are working with Tyto. And in the medical area, people knows about the Tyto. Our challenge, the next challenge is to become a consumer awareness of the Tyto. But this was step by step. I'm not talking about months. It was years in doing it. And one of the most important thing is the local market. You must be successful in the local market. And Clalit is known for its capabilities and its quality of care. And this helped us a lot because many people were looking how Clalit is working. And many visits came here, and Clalit gave us a reference, very good reference that helped us in many areas. That's the reason that we and Clalit are very good partner. And we are gonna provide more and more examination and sensors to the markets, and usually it starts with Clalit.
So it sounds like a very long journey, conducting all these connections with health organizations in different countries. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you have to be successful local and then in different local places. But at the end of the day, going forward into growth, you sell a consumer product. It's retail. How does it work? It's a very difficult marketing world out there.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Part of that, first of all, is to give, before you do anything, you need to show that even though you're a startup company, you can deliver. And many US companies were burned by technology from Israel, and then later on, the companies could not deliver the product on time with high quality. And this is something that we need to be invested, because our product is like a mobile phone with a medical examination tools. And that's the reason even one of our investors was Walgreens and said, how come you as a small company will be able to produce whatever we will require? And then it came to Best Buy. Currently, Tyto is being sold on Best Buy. It's not our main route for marketing, but this is part of it. And this is important that you will, first of all, you will be able to show that you can deliver. And that's the reason that we have a very large facility, not ours. We partner with one of the top contract manufacturer in the world that has local facility in Israel, and by that we show that it can be done. And selling, the heavy lifting of the sales to the consumer is currently being held by the health organization. We do provide them with all the tools and the content and everything to show it to the consumer, but they are doing that. They are, Clalit, for example, is doing it, and you show the TV shows. In the US, you have the health organization that are doing the commercials. We do help them with also sometimes in the marketing budget. The heavy lifting is being done by them, because Tyto, as a small company, cannot go weeks and go to the Super Bowl moment and have a TV commercial. But probably it will be in the next 2 years, probably we'll need to do this.
You need to always optimize your distribution channels and also the cost of manufacturing. How do you measure it, and how do you play with it in your business model?
We do know that when we start a company and from the beginning, this is a new technology, you need to not to make too much money on the hardware, because we are looking more to be a service company in regards to and to be like a SaaS company, but the device is the tool. So what we were looking is how, first of all, how to do the production of the tool to make sure that it's reliable, that no recall will come from the field, and this is very important for a medical company in consumer area. And we knew that we have a roadmap of reducing the cost, and that's what we are doing now, and we are now reducing the cost, and the model for we were more targeting on the SaaS income, and this is very important for us. We have almost none churn, and this is what important. And the device is like a one-time fee that's being paid by the health organization, and we are trying to reduce it as much as we can to make sure that when they sell it to the consumer, it will be also it's not going to cost $99, but it's not going to be for free, but it would be between around $150 to the consumer. And the value, as I said, is return on investment is very, very quick. So our company at this time is more focused on the SaaS, and in parallel reducing the cost of the device. And this is something that every consumer company is doing today. There is no much of a thing, but we do have other capability that we add more software-wise, that will add more to our value proposition, and this is something that the gross margin on the software is pretty good.
So how does that work? Is your device connected to Wi-Fi or servers? How do you update your device?
Okay, so it's like a regular mobile device. It has a Wi-Fi, and it connects to a router or hotspot on your phone. And we do upgrade over the air, like any regular mobile phone. Yeah, we developed it, and we are doing it, and we have an app that being on the app stores and being updated on a routine basis. Yeah.
Okay, so when you started, you said you were very innovative. Now, after a few years of a journey, what about competition?
First of all, we are trying to run fast to make sure that we are, the gap will be high. Currently, there is no competition. There are few startup companies. When we started the company, this was very important. Our competition was like a gadget items, not a real medical. And they were focusing on one type of examination. But Tyto came with a different approach. Our approach was, how can we make how can we replicate the clinic visit at home? So we were sitting with the physician, seeing what is the process, what do you need for making diagnostic. Then we came with a minimum examination of what I said before, the heart and lung sound, the throat, the ear, And this was the minimum that we developed, and we put it as a package. So now physicians were looking at, the same thing that I was doing in the clinic, I will do it at home. So all this competition were focusing on one item. And this was not a sufficient proposition for health organization to use it. And from then on, we are investing much on integration with the health records. For example, we are the only remote physical examination platform on one of the top EHR in the US on their marketplace. And currently, we don't see too much in competition. I believe that it will come. We have even an Israeli company that is trying to do the same thing, but with lower cost. But just bear in mind the journey that we've done so far and the assets that we have and the data that we have. Part of what is important about Tyto, that Tyto has data that nobody else has. All the examination are being recorded digitally, and we have the consumer consent to use this data, be identified and use it for research. And right now, we are looking at using the data for machine learning AI, and even now in process with the FDA to have clearance for part of our AI capabilities. So we are running fast because we have data, and we will bring more value to the physician or to the health industry. And in parallel to that, all the regulation that currently Tyto is SOC 2, is ISO certified for medical, ISO certified for information security. So we are meeting all the requirement of the market, and we are working with the market to understand really what is required. And in parallel, we'll bring more examination. Our value and our vision is to make sure that you will have all the capabilities to do home diagnostics. We want you to stay at home unless you need to go to an expert or you need to go to the hospital. And this is something that is our roadmap, and we are developing more and more. And currently, for example, we are gonna, because of the COVID, we are adding now the oxygen level meter, which is SpO2, and everybody knows about it in Donetsk, and it will be offered soon in the market. So we're listening to the market, and we develop according to their requirement and priorities.
So you're working fast, and you invest a lot in R&D as well to create more features. And then you're actually going to update your device with a new feature. But when you create a new feature, how does it work? It's working a lot in R&D, and then it needs to go on your device. Is it going the same regulations again? Is it going through the same pipelines again?
Every feature that you bring to the table, which is a medical aspect, you need to go through all the full
entire process.
But currently we have the people and we have the knowledge how to do it fast, and what is required. And even these days, when we are talking about machine learning and AI, we are taking an expert and have, as a consultant. We are not trying to do everything by ourselves. And there is, for example, in the Israeli industry, there is a much knowledge about AI. Many companies are in this arena. And we are special because it's our data. All the others have acquired data from others. In our case, it's our data. So we are using consultant to make sure that we are doing the right thing. And when we get to the FDA, it will be a fast process and not a long one.
Tell us personal experience of you as an entrepreneur when you felt it's hard, and what made you feel it, and how you push yourself up.
One of the lowest points was getting declined by the angels in the seed investment. It took us time because when you develop hardware, it's easier to develop a software. But when you develop a hardware, you must have much more money than usual. And you have a minimum that you need to raise. And some cases, some angels were looking at that, but they said, if you don't close it in few months, I will spend the money for others. And this is something that, if I'm asking myself what was the lowest point, that we were almost closing the round, and then he said, look, it took you too much time, I'm dropping. And it take few minutes, but you do believe that what you have is good, and you keep up. And Daddy and myself are not young, and we have experience. We were managing many people. We had many points where you need to you have challenges. So I think that we got it. We have the ability to do it, and I'm also also important is what your family think about it. I'm
Personal support from home.
yeah, because I started the company when I was more than 50 years old with 3 kids, and it wasn't and dropping from work, and people were saying to my wife, your husband is crazy, is irresponsible. How he's gonna do it? And she told them, look, I believe in him, and she gave me all the support. And we had 3 daughters. It's not easy. It took us more than a year to raise the money, the first money, and the family is the most important thing here. And it's not just the family; it's also my friends. They believed in me, and luckily we are successful. But my wife is tremendous, and Dad is as well. Okay, so this is very important. It's very currently there is also something that gave us the strength, that we believe that we are doing good to the world by having this kind of product, because we knew that when the product will be out, people that didn't have any chance to see a physician will be examined by Tyto. And currently we see it. We see it in Chile. People that were, you have nurses going from one place to another. You would see people that in their bed, they cannot they go out the bed and being examined by Tyto remotely. Schools right now, so it gives us very good strength. It gives us
You have a cause.
patient to move faster and bring it to the world. And currently, we do understand that Tyto can work everywhere. It's everywhere. Wherever you don't have a physician, you can use Tyto, and that's what we are doing now.
I want to focus on your story on seed round. First, to understand how much did you raise on your seed round, and especially what was your main vehicle when you went into that seed round? What were the special elements that you think made you successful in gaining those funds you were looking for?
Yeah. This is also something of the tips that I give small companies or starting company. First of all, you must use the chief scientist, or as it's called now, the innovation authority. Yeah. Because when you're talking about angels, they must have someone that were looking at this concept, because they want to see 2 things. Is it innovative? And does it have market potential? And that's what even the Tnufa, which is like you can get up to 200,000 shekels. This is it's important, because it's not the money is important. Their value is with their report that they say, look, if you're gonna bring money, we'll match it somehow. And that's what was important for us, and that's what we've done with Tnufa. And it's also
our listeners doesn't know Tnufa. In one sentence, what's Tnufa?
Tnufa is for innovative product that you bring to the innovation authority, and they assign person to check your submission, and they're looking for if is it innovative and if it's market potential. And after that, you can go to angels. They don't have any due diligence capabilities, and this is something like you're getting like a certificate that there is a potential there. And this is something that Israel is very known about, and many other companies are coming to Israel to see this, because this 100,000 shekel gave us so much strength, because we used the money to show feasibility, and we showing that we started with patents. With patents, Daddy and myself, we started from our pocket money for the patents. So it gives them a certificate, a trust that you can use it. And that's something that later on we went to the angels. The angels that, if you look at the angels and the one that who led the angels, they are people that knew Daddy and myself. They knew our capabilities, and then each one brought another one. And up to that, we needed to raise about $750,000. It was for like 5 angels. And then after that, we brought more to 1 angel and 1 VC. And then when we started really developing it and all that. And currently, if you look at all the people that we were working with, they trusted us. They had no idea about technology. No idea. They trust what the Innovation Authority, and they trust that they knew us. Yeah, this is the angel money.
So just to sum it up, you went with the backup of the Innovation Authority and a prototype into your seed round, into recruiting your seed round.
No, the seed round was not prototype. It's just feasibility validation. The prototype was after the round A. When we needed much more money, we needed to do it with the regulation in the seed. We just had the strategy for the regulation, but it was not end product.
So what kind of advice you can give entrepreneurs that listen to us right now that are dealing with the gap of wanting to create a prototype but don't have enough money?
You know, I think that in this case, looking for grants. There are many grants right now. Digital Health, for example, has much grants in that. And currently we do see business from healthcare organization. You know, back then nobody was looking at the health organization, even here in Israel, we're not looking for equity or something like that. Currently, if you're coming with an innovative idea, they said, okay, we'll give you all the data, but we want equity, or we want, and maybe they can also can give you money. So currently you have grants, you have a health organization that can support you, and many in Israel, and I believe it is also in the US, there are many accelerator, which is combination of medical companies, and we just looked. I just looked yesterday. At least in Israel, they have like 20 accelerator programs, and not just medical, fintech, insurtech, many that you can go there. The only problem with the accelerator is when you have hardware that needs much development, it's a big problematic. But I think that that's the best way to go.
So I just said it's great news because you pushed the innovation forward, okay, by establishing the company and taking this innovation forward. And now you're saying HMOs are not only sitting on the fence; they want a piece. They want to get in play with you. They want to get inside the game.
Yeah, we do see it, and even in Tyto, we have some investor that are health system that were looking in innovation, and you could go to, for example, Children's Boston Hospital, for example. They have programs of innovation. They are investing money in innovation. They're looking for equity, and they're looking for potential business, and we've seen it everywhere. Every health organization currently has innovation arm, and they are looking to get. I'm talking about medical because this is our area, but many of these health organizations has it. At the beginning, for example, when we started, even before we had something in writing, we even approached Kaiser Permanente, which is one of the largest HMO in the world, in the US, and we spent time with the innovation fund and seeing if we could raise money. But we were in Israel. In this case, it didn't help. But currently, we have some customer that are investor at Tyto. So people in the medical, at least, can go there and showed what they have. And there are many shows that this is part of that. For example, currently because of the COVID, it's virtual, but we spend much time in shows that showing the telehealth or the HIMSS, which is the health information system, and you could be there and see there, and they are looking for innovation. Everybody now is looking for innovation, so just pick up the one that will give you value, and not just money. And many organizations give value in physician, in data, and even give you the ability to do studies. And this is very important. For example, even in Israel, you can have many healthcare system from US are working here to look for innovation. So if they look here, they also look in the US.
About COVID, we talked about it a bit before. I'm sure it created more demand. By COVID itself, created more challenges. Manufacturers closed their plants sometimes. And how was, what was the challenge of optimizing that? We're gaining more demand, more requests, needs to produce more.
Yeah, this 2020 was a very challenging one because nobody was ready for that demand, and Tyto as well. And in Q2, we were fighting over deliveries of raw materials from China, from other places in the world, even because of the shipping and also manufacturing sites that were closed. And we had a very poor situation. But then, a few months after, we could gain back and even triple our production. Because we had a good partner, and we met the demand. But we did lose some business in between for sure, because I can tell you that in some health organization they were selling few hundreds per day, and this is something that nobody was ready for that. So currently we are more monitoring it, and we are triple our production and even looking for more increase in volume. I think that we gain back the tank, and of course our results for 2020 are above the forecast for sure, and we hopefully that it will be more and more. Currently, companies like Tyto, not in the device but in the digital health, you look at the NASDAQ or in the US market, they are very, very favorable now by the market.
Okay, it's time for us to wrap it up. So do you have a strong message you would like to deliver to entrepreneurs?
As I said, most important is the market approval. Bring as much as you can market people that are key opinion leaders and that they will give you the aspect of the market requirement when you're going to raise money. The other thing, try to work with the health system, or try to work with in other areas, not health system, but to work with potential customers, that they will tell you that if this is gonna work, we will need to use it, we'll use it and we'll buy it. And then the technology, then start to develop technology. This is something that's very important. I saw many companies that were focusing on technology but failed in the market, and they lost the track.
Completely agreeing with you.
And also, consult under other companies, other entrepreneurs that can give you ideas. People are more open than you think.
Thank you so much.
Your ears, open your mind.
Yeah.
Validate the market.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, La, as well. And to all you listeners out there, we'll see you on the next episode. And you can subscribe through all major platforms, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple. And you can also watch this episode on YouTube.